Failure. Oh, it's a yucky word for so many of us, but the thing is, we can flourish right after. Hello, my name is Janine. Welcome to The Journey with Janine, and today we're going to talk about how to flourish after failure. Failure, I have a love-hate relationship with her. Yes, I do. But the good thing is that oftentimes failure is our greatest teacher. We're oftentimes not learning those noteworthy life lessons in our time of success and abundance and triumph. It's in the storm. It's at the bottom. It's in the hole in which we're learning those really significant lessons that transform us in order to embody the success and enjoy the triumph and abundance that we want to have. The first part of flourishing after failure is making peace with your process. We have to be able to come to terms with our failure in order to move from it. And that may look like taking some time to reflect, mourning whatever was lost in the process, whether you're sad that you lost time or that you lost money or you lost relationships, whatever it is that was lost in that time, that season, you got to make peace with that. Also identify what was learned, because the thing is, when you start again, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience, you're starting with wisdom, and you can apply that wisdom to make the next go around of whatever avenue you go much better, much more abundant, much more successful. This was completely my story back in, I want to say 2019 maybe, right before COVID hit. I was running a photography business, and I was working pretty hard, what I thought was working pretty hard, and taking pictures of people, volunteering to take some free, working mindfully with pricing so that people felt comfortable and it was affordable, all these things, trying to sharpen my skills, networking, getting to know people, trying to co-collaborate, all of the things. I basically went from having a zero-figure income to finally being able to utilize that failure and scale myself to a 5-figure. So that's really what we want to work on. How can you allow yourself to make peace with the failure? Because I'm thankful for it now. That year that I had, that was just a horrible sucky photography business year, taught me so much. And because of it, I was able to reapproach what I wanted with a completely different perspective, with lessons learned, with wisdom gained, and fresh approach and fresh energy. So as you go on your journey to flourish from failure, think about that. What did you learn? Once you've identified what you've learned, it's time to assess the lessons. Our lessons are going to be the building blocks of how we move forward. So for me, for instance, while I was offering these great opportunities to work with people, pro bono or in a supportive, collaborative, bartering way, I wasn't bringing home anything. I wasn't able to build in the way that I really wanted to, and I wasn't strategizing how I was utilizing that as a business plan versus a business hope. So identifying what your lessons are and then taking those lessons from them so that you can reapply the wisdom of those so that you can make better choices and actions thereafter. Another thing that I like to do with assessing the actions is look at where you might have been paralyzed. A lot of times after we fail, we're butt hurt. Like our heart is all just out of whack because we feel like we have lost. A part of our identity is shattered. We've lost part of our belief in ourselves, and it's like, well, how can I ever ... because I wasn't able to achieve XYZ. So taking that lesson, but also identifying where you might have been paralyzed or hurt, where your heart was penetrated in a negative way, you got to heal that. Whatever that looks like for you, finding whatever wellness, self-care modality is going to help you heal the wounds of your heart so that you can go back into the game strong-minded, strong-hearted, and ready to rock and roll. Mapping out the lessons can also come to a really easy activity that I love doing with business is doing a start, stop, continue. I love doing this on a weekly or monthly basis with myself, what's going on with my family, and just like lifestyle logistics, but also from a business perspective. What is something that you need to start? What is something that you want to stop? What's not working for you that needs to be extinguished? And then what is something that's working well that needs to just be simply continued? When we're able to assess in this really simple but powerful way, it gives us a really clear pathway and vision of how we need to continue forward so that we're making the most out of our energy and effort, and we're also shedding layers of ourselves or efforts that we're having that aren't working for our benefit. Once you have assessed your lessons, it's time to map out your vision backwards. Once you've identified where you want to end, what's the best possible outcome for you, then mapping it out backwards from there. So you've made it to point Z. Okay, awesome. This is how you feel. This is what you're experiencing. This is what you've benefited and acquired in your path. When we do this, it creates less ambiguity of the process, because we're thinking and strategizing from our highest self, from our future self, instead of the current self, where we're like, well, I haven't been there yet, so I can't even think about how I would imagine to get there. Or we're thinking about it from the way that we always see others get there, or it may be a more limited mindset of how we can get to our end goal because of what's around us. So we open ourselves up a little bit more mentally when we think about it from the mindset of possibility, from already being there. What would it be like if we were already there? And then take it backwards. Once you have mapped out your vision backwards from where you want to be to where you currently are, and gotten all of the mini milestones and cultivated the milestones that go in between there so that you can bridge that gap of where you are and where you want to be, then it's time for application. That's where we're going to focus, we're going to fine tune, and then we flourish. So focus. It's something that I think so many of us want to have or desire to practice, but we have so many things competing for our attention that focus is oftentimes hard to create. We really have to systemize our focus in order to experience it because of the mass amounts of distractions that we have around us. Putting our phone on do not disturb, talking with the people that we're connected with, and having that clear understanding in our relationships of what people can expect and not expect out of us during a time of digging in deep and really committing to a plan or a vision that we have. It takes communication, and it takes healthy boundaries in order to have the level of focus that you're going to need in order to achieve your goals. This can look like setting aside an hour in the morning where you get up earlier or you stay up later in the night so that you have that time to work on whatever it is that you want to do. It may also look like you miss out on some of the fun activities that are going on, or you strategically plan which ones you're going to go to and which ones you're going to miss out on. Netflix and chill, phone scrolling, all of the things that may not be investing into our bucket of possibility for the future, those things we want to really critique and identify what place they have in our current season of life so that we can really focus and then fine tune our actions that are leading us towards flourishing and acquiring that end goal. When you flourish, I think it's really important to talk about this, because flourishing, while it's like, yes, I made it, I'm flourishing, I'm living the best life, all the things, it's all cyclical. Once you make it to a certain echelon of success, of appreciation, of abundance, of peace, then we desire something more. We're ready to evolve and revamp and replenish what we've created and what we've cultivated for ourselves in our life, and then it's time to continue building. Finding gratitude first once we've made it to that place of flourishing, after especially a journey from failure. Generosity, I think, is one of the most beautiful ways to give back in this space and to elevate the energy of flourishing by giving back to people. So if it's somebody that helped you in the process, or somebody who is also going on a journey and they're having some mental obstacles, barriers, that kind of thing, giving them even a word of encouragement is showing generosity. If it's supporting them on their path financially, if it's just giving some time and maybe giving some pointers on how they can strategically maneuver through their journey and meet success. All of these things are ways that you can provide generosity to others around you, to your community, and that's going to continue to flow into your cup as well and help you as you cycle forward into the next endeavor. So I hope that those tips were helpful for you. I'm sending you so much love, light, and joy as you go on your journey. If you have navigated failure, I want you to remember that it's not the end of the story. It's only the end of the story if you decide that it's the end. So take that failure, get those lessons, apply them, and go ahead and flourish. Sending you so much love and light. Have a great one, friends.